Please take a moment and hit those like and subscribe buttons. While a small gesture, it really means a lot to Wild 7 Studios and allows us to continue creating meaningful and fun content for your viewing pleasure.
How long did it take me to complete issue number 1? I would have to say, that's a good question, because if I were to calculate it from when I started writing it, maybe 3-4 years, because I started writing it and I would keep writing it as first I wrote it as a full-length graphic novel, meaning it was like 100-something pages and stuff. I wrote a whole script for it. And then I wrote some of it as a prose, as like a novel and stuff, and I just kept going back to it. But in terms of the actual process of hooking up with an artist and having him, his name is Rick ALVES, shout out, what up, Rick, having him do the art, I think it took about 9 months, I want to say. I connected with Rick ALVES on the internet using a website called Reddit, which you can use to connect with any type of professional you want. There was a Reddit group called Comic Book Collaborations. I am the luckiest man in the world because I have the greatest partners in the world, and I was not savvy to Reddit prior to meeting my partner, Chris, and April and stuff, and they turned me on to Reddit. And so I would go to Reddit and look at this comic book collaboration subreddit, which was just basically creators trying to hook up with other creators. And I saw this guy who had really great art basically saying, I'm looking to collaborate and I want to, hook up with anybody that wants to tell a fun story or something. And so I wrote to him and I said, hi, my name is Naz Red. I'm making a film. And we were in the middle of, I think, post of Debbie, or at some point of production of Debbie and the Devil, this film. And we connected right away, and I had a bunch of concept art that I had done. The cover of Killer Comanche was done by a gentleman named Fandui, and he did that way before I connected with Rick. And Fandui has since done 2 other pieces of concept art for us of different characters. And so when I connected with Rick, I told him, I said, look, I have some ideas and stuff for something that we could collaborate on. Here's some concept art. You tell me which is the one that speaks to you, and we'll do that one. And he right away sent me a message back saying, I want to do the one of that Native American guy. I think that looks cool. And I said, I agree with you. It is cool. And so from then, I wrote like a 4-page script for Rick. And I wrote it, he did the art, and I loved it. And I realized this is too good to just have it be this 4-page story. I want to give the character and give this world what I think it deserves, which is the time and effort to really tell it and flesh it out, because I think it's cool and I think people will think it's entertaining. And so I told him, Rick, let's add more to this. Now, mind you, I wasn't pulling the story beats out of the air. A lot of material had been written prior to that. But I would say that in terms of the art process, in terms of the inking, getting Rick to ink the things, it was like 6 months. Then having Rebecca, who did the coloring, Rebecca SWENSON, hey Rebecca, do the coloring, that didn't take too long because she was very quick. And then having it lettered took a few weeks. So I think all in all, from writing, took many years. I've been writing this my whole life, but from inking and stuff, I would say it probably took about a year. And I think that I know that the turnaround will be much quicker for future issues, but it was our maiden voyage, so it took a year. Rick was very helpful, but also, Rick was very, I find the best collaborators when you're doing something, they kind of just let you do your thing. So he never editorialized the story or what was written. However, one thing he did, and it did kind of remind me of working with my director of photography on Debbie and the Devil, our film, was I remember one time we were shooting and it was like late. And I remember there was one shot that we looked like we couldn't get it, and so Lucas was like, I said, we got to move on. And Lucas was like, dude, as your DP, we need, I would be remiss if I told you if we didn't get this shot. And so I said, okay, yeah, okay. So we made time for it. The thing that sort of correlates with that with Rick was, I remember there was one shot that he asked me to put in just for the sake of the story, which is, and spoiler alert for Killer Comanche, at the end when the villain gets gets popped off in the head, Rick said, can we please add one shot, a full page of his head going off? And I said, yeah, that works. Now, mind you, when I'm making something and as we are independent creators and stuff, and it's all coming from you, you're generating everything, and you want to get stuff done, you are sort of quick and stuff, and you need sort of collaborators like Rick to be like, let's slow down. We need just a little bit of this. And so that was the one thing that I remember. And Rick was just very, very, very respectful of me as a writer. But generally, I find with my collaborators on film or in comic book or anything, you give them you give talented people parameters, and they play within those parameters. And Rick really did play really well within those parameters. I mean, it's not like the faces of the villains and everything. That was all Rick. And then also in terms of collaborating with Rebecca, that was really interesting because you're coming off of getting these cool images from Rick, and then you're giving it to a totally different person. And Rebecca was local, so I was able to have FaceTime with her and stuff. And that was a joy because it's a joy getting the art from Rick, but then it's a joy giving it to Rebecca, and she fleshes it out color-wise and just makes it look psychedelic and cool and stuff like that. So this is the Killer Comanche notebook that I bought when I first started writing it. And then this is a notebook called The House of Poison of this other project that has to do with Killer Comanche. It has to do with The House of Poison, which is in Killer Comanche. And so when I bought this notebook, the first thing that I did was this little design and this of Blue Feather. I wrote Killer Comanche, and I always get a notebook to sort of psych myself up and fill it with doodles and stuff like that. This is the main villain from the first one. This is Blue Feather's future love interest, and I just basically, any project, I get a notebook and I start doodling and I start writing and I start scribbling stuff down. Some of it makes it into the thing and others don't, and some of it, I mean, just doesn't even look legible to me after a certain point. And then here, this is where I did the layout and stuff, and I wrote, the following is the layout script for Killer Comanche issue 2. It involves a story about the House of Poison, and spoiler, issue 2 is called Fists of Poison. And so this is the layout. This is like the first page you see Blue Feather is. And then the thing is, this might not even look eligible to you, but I know the information. I know what's going on. And basically what I do is, I do all this, these are all the panels and stuff, and it's sloppy as hell, but I give it over to Rick, and with Rick, I give him a sort of script of what every image means and stuff. So for instance, you've got this character, you've got Blue Feather, and then you have them facing. The character walks away. Blue Feather looks down. He's very emotional. And then the character comes back to him and, tells him, hey, we have stuff we have to do. And then, then you see the next page and you see, all of this. This is how I pretty much do the layout. If you notice, I'm not the best draftsman in the world. I'm good at, just drawing a very rudimentary figure, and basically, yeah, this is how you do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pictures of these layouts and send it to Rick, give him a detailed explanation of what the story is, the script, everything, and then from there, he's able to, bring it to life, and he inks it. And I'm totally giving away the story of issue 2. But the thing is, it's written in such hieroglyphic sort of symbols almost that I don't think you can surmise what is going on here. I mean, because, again, it's not It's not written, it's not drawn like, you know, I'm not a great draftsman. I'm just good at doodling. But here we see Blue Feather riding away. What is this adventure that Blue Feather went on? Well, get issue number 2, and you find out, sport. You can get Killer Comanche at wild7studios.com at our digital shop. You can also get it on amazon.com. If you want a hard copy, go to our website and order a hard copy. I highly recommend that. I highly recommend also getting the digital copy, so you have it both on your tablet and in your hands. Wild 7 is a movie studio. Debbie and the Devil is our first film. It is run by myself, Chris Troll, and April Mendoza, and they are my partners, and we are basically renegade cinema. Whatever you think is cool about cinema when you were young and cool, that's what Wild 7 is. Now you're old and lame, so you can observe us from a distance. I'm just kidding. You're not old and lame. You're great. Wild 7 is just basically a fun factory. It's a fun house. It's a dream factory. It's a place where creative things happen, creating the ultimate in entertainment. I can prove all of these things using science. Debbie and the Devil is a horror film. Some are calling it a horror comedy because it's quite fun. And it's 3 interconnected horror stories. Very epic, and it's a film I love and enjoy very much. Not just because I made it, because it's awesome. You can get Debbie and the Devil at our website at wild7studios.com or at Vimeo On Demand. We will be on other platforms very soon. Check us out on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel at Wild7 Studios. Things are being dropped daily, so try to keep up. But it's a lot of fun. Our world is a lot of fun, and if you're watching this and you're into our world, hey, if you're new to our world, welcome. I am Mr. Red, and I live here like a troll of fun.